All right, we're gonna go around the horn.
Cheers.
You may have seen some of these faces before on your social media streams. They are influential Sharks Twitter folks that I wanted to have on here, and we're gonna discuss everything, I guess. Where the team's at now, where you hope they go, some memories from the past. I have this hypothetical, which I hope everybody can just digest right now and give me an idea on later. What if the Sharks won that Stanley Cup in 2016 against the Pittsburgh Penguins? How would things have been different the last, 5-6 years? How would things be different, or maybe not today, for better or worse? So I want you guys to all think about that, because I will pose that question. So let's go around the horn. I really appreciate everybody for being here. Eventually we'll get to Andrew. He's right in the middle there of that Brady Bunch box. Andrew's in Japan, which I can't wait to talk about. But let's begin a little bit closer to home and say hello to one of my good buddies, Felix. Hey, Felix.
Hey, Brodie. What's up, everyone? I am in the East Bay. I'm literally half an hour away from the tank, though I don't go to much games, but either way, can always support from the couch, right? So, but I've been a Sharks fan for quite a while. I probably watched one game of the Chicago San Jose series back in 2010, and then I don't really remember much of it, but I do remember the one against Vancouver the following year in 2011. So
kind of the same result, huh, Felix? One step away from the Cup final, didn't get past the conference final.
I mean, yeah, that's it's. And we'll talk more about this, I'm sure, as the show as this rolls along. I mean, I guess this is kind of a show, but we'll get more into how the Sharks have just always been there and just never gone over the hump. And of course, as you mentioned, that 2016 run where they were just so close, but no cigar. So. But absolutely thrilled to be on here finally, and of course, thrilled to meet you finally, virtually.
You and I have been collaborating on some things for a while, and we're going to keep that rolling.
Hopefully, we can get that to the finish line at some point.
Absolutely. Discord. So, Felix, you're just to recap, you're about 12 years into your Sharks fandom.
Yeah, let's put it that way.
Okay,
sure.
Cool. Well, on that note, we'll hand it off to Eric. He's also an East Bay guy. Eric, I've known for a long time. When was actually your Sharks connection? Was it 91? Do you go all the way back to the beginning?
I go all the way back to the beginning. I remember eating dinner at the dining room table with my little Walkman, listening to Dan Rusanowski call the first game on KNEW in on the radio way back when. Yeah, so it's been
you're an old
since day one. That's right, Shetty. Yeah, exactly.
Eric used to walk uphill both ways to school somehow in the snow. That's great.
And beautiful Pleasant Hill.
So let me ask you this: 31 years. In some ways, it's gone 31 years, but in some ways, hasn't it gone by in 3 years?
It's like a roller coaster. You have that build up, that's a slow build up, and then next thing you know, you're like on the old Top Gun ride at Great America. You're going for loops, you're going dives, and it's just going all over the place. And next thing you go is where the heck did the time go?
What part of the ride is Evander Kane's tenure? Never mind. We'll answer that. AJ, where's my rim shot?
And record scratch.
You're the sound effects guy, AJ. Come on, we'll get to you in a second. But first, third on the screen, and I'm going left to right, top to bottom here, is Casey. Now, full disclosure, this is Beers with Brodie. I have just cracked a triple IPA. This is Tres Diablos from Danville Brewing. It's 10.2. But here's the deal, Casey. How old are you?
I'm 17 years old.
Yeah, so you better be drinking your Starbucks only, right? On this episode. You literally have Starbucks.
Yeah.
I was kind of kidding about that. So tell us your background, Casey. I love having you on, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here. Yeah. So I am also an East Bay guy. I have a YouTube channel, and that's kind of how I've sort of immersed myself into the community of Sharks and A's, etc. And I've been a Sharks fan. Like I said, I'm a Bay Area, East Bay guy, so I don't go to the games probably as much as I'd like to. That being said, though, I've probably been a fan about 7 years. And, I just kind of fell in love with the Sharks ever since, I started watching them when they were on, and it's, they're just such a fun team to watch. And they're fun to talk about on my YouTube channel. So I've definitely, gained a lot of knowledge through just talking about them. And I don't know, just something about them when I first started watching, it just really clicked with me. It was the image, it was, the star players that, we all love and support. So I'm just, really a big fan of all that. And I'm happy to, be on this. And obviously, Brodie, we've talked on the phone during your live streams, and it's just been, it's a pleasure to be on here today.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad to have you. Honestly, Casey, you do a really good job. I've seen some of your videos, and for your age, and it's crazy because you'd say, "Oh, I've been a Sharks fan for only 7 years," but yeah, you were like 10 when you got into it. What's crazy about that? You and I literally got into the Sharks at about the same age. For me, somewhere between 91 and 93, but realistically, it was 93. It was that first year at SAP Center. Well, the Tank, San Jose Arena, before it was a Compact Center and HP Pavilion and everything else. But I went to a Sharks Chicago game right around Christmas of that first season and was just instantly hooked. The atmosphere of the Tank and, being about, I guess I was 12 years old at that point, but about the same age as when you got into it, it hooked me, and being from these parts like you are, like where you grew up here, hockey's not necessarily played on every outdoor rink because there aren't any. So it was unique. It was kind of a specialty thing. And I think that's probably a trend for all of us. So awesome. Great to have you here, Casey. I'll move on to AJ, who's obviously promoting the brand with all the Teal Town USA. AJ, you could basically host this. I don't even need to be here.
Yeah, but I'm giving the game the horse eye, and Landeskog just scored. So
you're not even watching this stream. You're multitasking. Like you can't even pay attention to this for a couple minutes. You're such a busy guy. You are a multitasker. Are you also indulging tonight in a beverage or no?
Oh yeah,
of
plenty.
Course.
Plenty.
Oh, excuse me. That's a flex. That's a flex right there, kids.
In case this runs long.
Wow. I thought he was going to open up a bottle of scotch or something and just outclass all of us. So, AJ, you and I go back at least several years, but give us your background for those who may not know it.
For me, it was started at the Cow Palace, went, that first year, went a couple times the second year, and had a great time, but it was like, I'm not about that drive up to the Cow Palace, it's a pain. I'm a South Bay kid. And so when they finally opened up San Jose Arena, my best friend actually worked. Like if you go around, you see all the speakers that are recessed into the ceiling. He put in a large majority of those. Wow. So he knows a lot of the nook and crannies that a lot of people aren't aware of when it comes to that building. But it was once 93, 94 started, having a team finally that San Jose, the South Bay could call their own. That's what triggered it for me. And then, the run and hearing about, Detroit's the heavy favorite. San Jose is going to be lucky to win one of these, and just to see what happened, it was just, it made me a fan for life. And, I've got ticket stubs from that season in multiple playoffs. We all remember Nolan scoring from center ice and all those different fun memories that I'm sure you have too. So and then somehow I got involved with Eric and this whole Teal Town thing happened. I don't know.
Well, you guys should have promoted that. And at the end, we'll do the hardest plugs of all. But Felix is part of it too. But Teal Town USA is one of the original Sharks, and I say like fan site. You guys have evolved into actually, legitimately covering the team. I don't even know what to call it because it has evolved so much. But I think every Sharks fan has come across Teal Town USA at some point. So you guys do a great job with that.
No, I appreciate that. And no, for me, it's no. If we're gonna plug, it's about the jerseys, brother.
Oh, here you go. He's hawking jerseys now.
I'm hawking custom jerseys.
Pumping his own side projects.
They are impressive though. I got to give it. Like you sent me some pictures before he came on tonight of what's in your mailbox tomorrow. Apparently, my goodness. I mean, I'm excited by this stuff, so I can't wait for other people to see their reaction too. I'll move on to Andrew, and I got to tell you, of all the things I'm excited about here, we're crossing the Pacific Ocean for this live stream, Beers with Brodie. Andrew is where in Japan? Where are you, buddy?
I am in Fujisawa City in Japan.
Okay.
It's about like 1 hour drive from Tokyo.
And so it's 9:15 p.m. here in California right now. What time is it, and what day is it where you are?
It's August 17th, and it's 2 p.m.
What's tomorrow like? What's my Thursday gonna be like? I know you don't know that. It's just I always get a kick out of that, and you're always on the live streams on Sharks Night Shift. I always appreciate you commenting as soon as I see it pop up. It's awesome. So tell me your story. You're obviously half a world away. Are you from these parts, or how did you get into the Sharks? What's the whole deal? I don't even know.
Well, I've been a Sharks fan for about 16 or 17 years.
Wow.
My father was a Sharks fan. Well, he is still, but so I lived in Cupertino.
Okay.
And my father took me to the Shark Tank to watch a game, and I was like, wow. And then I became a Sharks fan.
That's very cool. It was the experience alone. So I gotta say right here, I mean, looking at you right now and just knowing where you are in the world, that's got to be one of the only Joe Thornton jerseys or Sharks 25th anniversary sweaters that exist in the whole country of Japan, right?
Yeah, could be possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, you don't see anybody really talking about hockey. Hockey's not, is it non-existent in Japan?
Well, there is an Asia League, but it's not common.
Okay.
Only a few people know about it.
Got it. Very
Brodie?
cool. Yes.
I don't mean to hijack your show.
Please
but
do.
I think this is so cool. Like, Chief is on the other side of the world. He's got more stuff in his room than I do.
Well,
I love it.
So that brings a great question, Andrew. Is that stuff with you? Is that from your time living in Cupertino? Do you still have friends that send you Shark stuff? Like, where do you get your supply from?
Well, these are the stuff I got when I was in Cupertino.
Okay.
So I don't have a New Jersey, so I really want one. Especially I want to get a William Macklin jersey.
Okay. Well, how about we get him on the team first, and then we'll get your jersey.
Oh yeah,
jersey.
Yeah.
We gotta. You know what? Somebody's got to tweet at Jonathan Becker here. I mean, we gotta let the press know that we got a fan here who, like, it's hard being a Sharks fan where you're at, Andrew. Right? I mean, the time difference. It's not easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
it's pretty.
Sorry, I do want to jump in and just sort of to piggyback off since he is in Japan. There was a first Japanese-born player to score a goal in the AHL.
That's right.
Yeah.
Recently.
Yes, for the Abbotsford Canucks. And just really cool to see. And I'm going to get more into this later, but it's just really cool to see just the impact of the sport.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think, like I said, I think the biggest thing is Andrew, as a Sharks fan, where he is in a place that's not completely exposed to hockey. And Felix, to your point, it does exist on the smallest level, and that's what makes any young player coming out of Japan even that much more special. It really does. Sure. Andrew, so happy to have you here, buddy, and can't wait to talk to you a little bit more. Let's get into Paul, who is sipping something right now. I was going to ID check Paul the same way I did Casey, but I found out that Paul's actually 25. It says, is that a Pacifico?
They do. I feel like they copied their brand, but it's actually Dust Bowl Brewing from Turlock, California.
I like it.
Yeah, from the small little city down over here in the valley, if anyone knows where we're from.
So are you in the Central Valley, Paul?
Yeah, so little town called Ripon, but they like to call themselves the almond capital of the world. So if you love your almonds, or almonds as the locals call it, you probably get it from here.
So you're pretty nuts, huh, Paul? Oh man, where's my rim
There's
shot?
your soundboard, Brodie.
Yeah, where's the soundboard today?
Stand by. Let me get that fired up here. Oh, I just popped it on the screen accidentally. Give me a second. Let me try. I'm just, if you don't mind, give me a second. I need to actually.
He's got a vamp, everybody. He's got a vamp.
All right, Paul, you must be nuts. Oh, wait. You guys may not have even been able to hear that.
Yeah, no, we heard it.
Oh, did you? Okay.
You heard it.
I was realizing the way it went out on the stream. It never mind. Anyway,
Dude, the mix minus is dialed in, buddy.
look, I don't even. So many configurations here at the home studio. I don't even know what's going on half the time. Okay, so Paul, what's the story? How'd you get into the Sharks? And obviously for you, coming to the tank is a pretty big haul.
Hour and 30 minutes.
There you go. Yeah.
It's never fun. Just only one way too through that hill. So
Tracy or through the Altamont Pass, right? Yeah.
So it's like, and if there's one accident, you're screwed.
Right.
And if you kick traffic either way. So, but no, just DirecTV, we got it in 2010. And I was like 12 years old. We were not into sports, me and my brother, just surfing the channels. And we just saw this hockey game on, these guys in teal jerseys. And we're like, these guys are cool. They're hitting each other, fighting. They're playing the Anaheim Ducks, I remember. And I think we beat them like 4-1. And I'm like, we got to go to a game. And we were like, my dad's just took us. And that whole experience, I think I was around the same age. Like Casey said 12. I was probably the same age too.
Yeah.
Around 2010. And I think it was the same team, the Ducks. Somebody threw a dead duck on the ice, and I'm like, I love this atmosphere. I love hockey. So ever since then, I just became a huge Sharks fan. So that whole atmosphere, and it's just such a unique sport. And, and around here, we're not really exposed to it. So finally getting a taste of something different that I can finally get into that's not football or baseball, it was nice. So
you're saying you didn't really follow any other sport until this?
No, I just played soccer. Okay. And I followed soccer for a while. The Earthquakes I did like for a while. Okay. Back when the Wondolowski days and
Wando's a legend.
Way back when we had Landon Donovan too.
Oh man.
Yeah, and back when we played at the Buck Shaw Stadium at the college. Before they even had a home arena. So
right.
So now they're very blessed. So it's just been I just didn't like soccer. I did that whole thing, played it when you're young for like first 10 years of your life, and then you just kind of get out of it. But then someone built a roller hockey rink in Ripon, out of all places. And it's now shut down, sadly, but I got into it at the right time, and I played it right when I got into it with the Sharks from like 12 to 16 years old.
It's crazy you mentioned that. I was just about to ask you, can you skate? And it's amazing because there's two things part of your story that I can relate to. Going to the tank for the first time, that experience sold you, it sounds like. And then the second thing is, once you also learn to play the game, it doesn't, trust me, I'm terrible at it, but once you start to skate, handle the puck around, and you gain an appreciation for actually what you're watching, you connect with it even deeper.
Oh yeah. And it's especially when you do it on ice, it's a whole nother world, especially from roller. Yeah. And then I fell in love with the Sharks so much that as of late, I got a job with them on the tank patrol. So
we have a Sharks employee. So
I often see,
you make the triple.
I often see you around. Yeah, I often see you behind the scenes, but I don't, get in your way, Brodie. But I work down below in the tank with the green jerseys on tank patrol. So
got it.
Yeah, and I do happen to see AJ. I talked to him about his jerseys one day on Teal Town. By the way, it's an honor being with Teal Town USA. They are the best.
Wow. That's very cool.
Hey, Paul, enough of that. This is my show. Okay? Stop. Like, seriously, I don't. Cool. If I plug them, it's one thing. I don't need you plugging them too. Okay. I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's an honor to be with both of you guys at the same time.
Okay, there we go.
I get the best of both worlds.
There we go. Great. Well, it's great. It's great to have. I didn't know you worked for the team. That's a great backstory too. So.
Yeah. No, it's the best job in the world to just be behind the scenes, working with the whole production and events with the bringing fans on the ice and doing stuff.
Awesome.
Like that. So, yeah.
Paul, great to have you here, Paul. I really appreciate you joining us. I'm so excited to welcome in Maddie, who is a regular viewer / chatter. Anytime we do Sharks Night Shift, she drops in and she lays down the hammer usually of how she feels. Like, she makes great points. I'm really excited to actually kind of meet you here for the first time. Hi, Maddie. How are you?
Good. How are you? It's nice to finally, be in a space where we're facing face to face.
It's not just
you, Snoopy.
Well, it's not just you chatting, me putting it on the screen, and me talking only to you. You get to talk back to us tonight. That's awesome. So, what's your backstory? What's your Shark story? Tell me what you like.
Sure. So I guess my family was always kind of a hockey family, specifically my dad. He played goalie growing up, I guess, and I always grew up going to the rink with him. I was always like the little girl on the ice who would help him put away pucks at the end of each practice. It was really fun. But then my parents had been season ticket holders since like the very beginning of the Sharks. And then all I ever knew was growing up going to HP Pavilion. And yeah, I kind of got sold from there. And then, of course, over pandemic, you always catch up with things that you grew up with. I started keeping up with the Sharks again through those two, pandemic seasons. Rough, but stuck through that, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we ended up here in this season, and then I kind of got into it even more, and I'm just really glad I stuck through it all.
Do you have a favorite player along the years? It doesn't even have to be current. Did you have a favorite season over all the years, or a Sharks experience you want to share?
Favorite player. I've always been a goalie person, probably because of my dad. Nabby will always be my personal favorite. Always will be.
Wait until you meet him. It's less impressive when you know him. So
I've met him like once, like a little offhand once. He was nice though.
No, he is. I wouldn't tease unless I actually like the guy and know him a little bit. So, great. And are you local? Are you here in Northern California, Maddie?
Yeah, so I'm actually in the East Bay, but since I'm in college, I'm actually in San Francisco.
Okay.
In like the Lone Mountain area.
This is quite the theme. Everybody is I think AJ's in the South Bay. Is that it so far? Right?
Oh, dude, I'm 12 minutes from the tank door to door.
Everybody else is a little bit farther away from SAP Center. So I'll move on to Alden, who I know half the time is in the Hawaiian Islands, which I'm so envious of. Excuse me. So Alden, I appreciate you coming on here. I've gone back and forth with you now for many years, and I always appreciate the way you approach things. So for those who don't know you, give us a little bit of a background.
Yeah, I think my introduction to hockey was like the early aughts. I went to
Steve Ott.
Yeah, early. I just went to I bought tickets to a game as a thank you to a friend of mine that I used to work with who got me a job. And so my first game was, a playoff game versus in the series versus St. Louis way, way back. And we got there late, and I remember opening the doors to the tank, and it was just as the anthems were starting, and I could just hear the roar of the crowd. Like you could feel the roar of the crowd.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is pretty cool. And so enjoyed that game, but then kind of dropped off for a few years, and then it kicked back in around 2006-07, and started to go to a few games here and there, and then it just really started ramping up from there. Probably really kicked in around 2009-10, and I don't know if I had to say favorite memory I've had or experience has been probably a tie between running into the entire team at CB Hannigan's the day after Chicago bounced us in 2010 and having one too many drinks with the whole team, and actually had to spend the night in Los Gatos. But that was just a crazy, insane night. And then the other experience was 2 years ago, a friend invited me down to Anaheim for a pretty special experience there. They call it Between the Benches. And it's like a full VIP game experience there. And cool. I think Eric was at that game too. We never quite met up, but that was a fun game. So
I like how your experiences are a little bit different than games themselves. They are actual encounters. Alden, I'm gonna judge you a little bit here. I can't see the numbers on your sleeve of your sweater.
It's Melker, baby.
I was trying to make out what those two digits were.
Yep.
Is that your only Shark? It can't be your only Shark shirt.
No, I've got number 44. I've got an Eddie sweater.
How does AJ know every sweater you have?
Because we drink before games.
Oh, yep. Alden, you hang out with this guy on purpose?
Yeah, we get our drink on before the games here and there. But Eddie and Malker. I really miss Malker, but I think my whole thing with finding players all these years that I've liked to favorite have been, everybody's had Thornton and Marlowe sweaters, things like that. And I wanted to maybe support guys that, aren't maybe a fan favorite and that sort of thing. And there's something about defense and Mark Edward that I really like. And, it's for as much as it seems like he's struggling, I just hope that he'll find his game, and Melker, I've just always appreciated the way that he played. There are a lot of haters out there, but I liked his game. I felt like he played a good 200-foot game.
I felt like I haven't seen much of Melker with the Sharks this year.
Yeah.
He made, you know what though? He made a great point because I remember
he's not on. Oh, sorry.
He made a great point. I remember Brodie a couple of years ago, you actually talking about jerseys or getting jerseys, and you were saying that you would like to see some jerseys around the barn that maybe didn't get the hype, the Marcus Sorensens and the Melker Karlssons.
I always, and that's honestly, Alden, I'll tell you this, I always appreciate seeing somebody who's got a different name on the back than you would expect, and they've got a story of exactly why. And I always love to ask that story. Why? And sometimes it's like, oh, I won the jersey at an auction. So it's like, it was the cheapest one.
Full disclosure, though,
Uh-oh.
I got this jersey from Melker directly on Fan Appreciation Night.
Nice. Okay, but then you kind of hit the home run then, because if you already like the guy, and that's the way it was, the jersey off his back deal, right? Is that what you're talking about? Okay, no, that's
exactly.
Well, Alden, if you, I don't know, you on your screen, if you look behind Eric, I think he has the jersey that every Sharks fan truly covets.
Wow, I'm just now noticing that. What a I forgot
to mention that before. No, Eric, see, AJ, you could learn something from Eric.
Oh, really? We're gonna go there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm controlling this Zoom, right? Could I shut your? Can I mute you if I need to? Just kidding. Alden, I'm so glad to have you here, Alden. You've always been one of my favorites. Just like when you interact on Twitter, like when you put something out there and I see it, I'm always like that. I don't know you, like we don't know each other personally, but I feel like I do, and I really do appreciate you. So last but definitely not least, Jeff, you've been waiting like 20 minutes to talk. Buddy, I apologize first off.
Oh, it's all good. I'm just glad to be here with everybody.
You just popped up last on the screen. So that's, but last but definitely not least. So I don't know you at all, but I would love to get a background, who you are, where you're from, and your connection to the Sharks.
Yeah, man. I'm just glad to be here with everybody. I'm glad to be here with the Teal Town guys and, great fans that, this community has opened me up to over the years. I'm also originally an East Bay guy. I live in LA now. Been down here about 6 years.
You don't have to say it like a guilty thing because you got Shark stuff all over your walls. Like you're fine. You're fine here. You're safe. Or you're.
Oh yeah, no, it's good to be in a safe space. Whatever. But yeah, I've definitely gotten some looks over the years since I've been here with a hat or a sweatshirt or we won it and you didn't. That kind of stuff.
Well, except for the jumbo slide and that couple play. Well, and then there was the reverse sweep. I guess I don't really.
I never liked that poll because it was like, how long did it take LA to win the first one? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they've been at it for a little bit longer. And winning a couple. It just they hit. Well, and I told you guys that I was gonna ask you about what if history happened different. What if the Sharks won the cup in 2016? I also want to ask the question to you guys later. Are the Sharks just an unlucky franchise? Like, they've got to the conference finals a couple times, and half their team can't even put on their sweaters. Like Ryan Close has a dislocated shoulder for the series. Anyway, do they just run out of luck sometimes? So put that under your guys' hat because I think sometimes there are things about the franchise. AJ, stop trying to answer right now. Like I told, just wait. Just wait. It's my show.
That wasn't you. I was looking at something else and answering your question. Calm down.
Jeff.
The script's already flying.
Yeah. So, Jeff, what got you hooked on the Sharks?
I'm a little bit like Paul in that I grew up playing baseball and skateboarding and stuff. I used to go to I don't even know how many A's games a year. Grew up an A's fan.
Oh, now we're really bonding. Wait, cheers to that? Come on. Where's my beer sound effect? It's got to be here somewhere. By the way. Who said that? Oh, Casey. Yeah. So sorry, Jeff. I keep interrupting. Go ahead.
All good. Yeah, I mean, I got to see them in like, up close and, the Giambi area, the Matt Stairs era. So it wasn't until my dad took me to a game when I was 19 and we went to Henry's. He snuck me in there before the game somehow. And I think it was Sharks Wings and
classic.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to get introduced, you know.
You went to Henry's High Life before a Sharks Wings game. I mean,
he knocked it out of the park. And like, it was so unassuming. He's like, I think like my friend gave me tickets. Let's go down there and check it out. And I mean, by the end of the first period, it was like, how have I not watched this? How have I not been into this yet? And I was just like completely in love.
You know what the best part, Jeff, is? And I go back to my, figuring hockey out and learning it and kind of feeling like I was one of only few of my friends that actually even knew what they were watching. It feels almost exotic at first because you're like, wait, this is sports. This is different. This is one that not everybody's talking about. It's certainly easy to enjoy. There are some quirks to it, right? The language of it's got a whole different vocabulary, I think, in a lot of ways. And honestly, too, it's the whole barrier of, okay, so if you like basketball, you could probably go get a ball for, $30 and go shoot hoops at the local middle school. But for hockey, it's like, okay, you either need a couple $100 worth of gear of rollerblades and it's not the same, or, I mean, what are the chances you actually find an ice surface? So it does feel a little bit exotic, huh? When you initially get into it.
Oh yeah, I mean, just the scale of the whole thing and how big the players are and especially going to the tank, like lights go down, Metallica comes on, Sharkhead comes down. That's kind of hits the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Like, this is awesome.
Cool.